What's up guys, Matt Laidlaw here, coming to you from Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson, LA area's oldest, largest, and finest Harley-Davidson dealership. So today I had a subscriber come by. It's a 6'10", 250-pound man who came by and brought his bike by, and he wanted to show off to me and the world and YouTube kind of his solution and what he did to make his bike fit his taller stature. So if you're a taller guy, you might want to take a look at this bike. He set up a Dyna Wide Glide, and he did a nice job of setting it up to fit a taller stature rider. So I'm going to go into some of the details on the accessories and everything he did to this thing. Alright, so let's get started on some of the details of this 2015 Harley-Davidson Dyna Wide Glide. So this is the denim black with flames on it. So these bars are BRS bars. I think they're a 20-inch height, 1.5-inch diameter. So a really tall bar. I guess it's a company out of New York that makes these things. Something that's really unique to this bike that you don't see very often is you got RevZilla's 2-inch extended fork tubes. So what once became, you know, an exaggerated trait of the Wide Glide with the big raked out front end, you even exaggerate that further, which gives it even more straight line comfort. But the handling, you know, turning, especially in close quarters, you compromise that a little bit. Not that that's a big deal or anything, but yeah, you give it more of that chopper style. You enhance the chopper style that the Wide Glide already has a lot of character with. You got Harley-Davidson's LED Daymaker. Michael installed a True Track stabilizer on this thing to give it the frame even more rigidity and snappiness, especially on high speeds like the freeway. These are the Kiriakin forward controls with our Harley-Davidson's mini floorboards on there. Michael has a size 17 4E shoe size, so he's a big man, he's got big feet. The exhaust system on here is Harley-Davidson's 2-into-1 big radius pipe. Sounds great. I'll be firing it up here for you in a minute. And this is a custom Danny Gray seat. The seat has been pushed back even further for him here, so the seat's completely custom. It's got that integrated backrest in there, which is a key trait to making this bike, you know, just really, really comfortable. This Danny Gray seat has an air bladder on here that you can pump up, kind of like those old Reebok pump shoes we used to pump the tongue on them. This is a release valve here that I was pressing to, you know, release the air. These are Works 13-inch shocks as well on here. I'll show another shot of that in a second. Here's the shocks, Works 13-inch shocks. Yeah, they were really comfortable, and I'll be commenting more on that in just a minute with my my riding portion of the video. So here's another shot of kind of like the linkage and everything that's involved with these Kiriakin forward controls. This is one of the key elements of this bike that really set it up for the ultra tall type of a guy. You know, if you're 6'3", 6'4 plus, you know, you might want to look into something like this. They were really nice. These are the Kiriakin blade mirrors, Harley-Davidson Grip It hand grips. The rubber grips, that's a genuine Harley part there. Here's another shot of the bars there. Real cool custom looking bar, real tall. Again, the LED Daymaker Harley-Davidson headlamp on there. Here's another shot of these really long raked out forks with those 2-inch extensions on there. And this sissy bar is kind of cool and unique. This is a Jin's sissy bar, and yeah, you can order these. These are like real retro chopper style, easy rider style chopper sissy bars here. Not the best for comfort, but you know, for looks, it delivers that classic chopper look like none other. And that's about it on there, guys. I'm just fire this thing up. So the bike sounds great. It's hard to go wrong with Vance & Hines exhaust. I get a lot of questions on a daily basis about people asking what exhaust they should go to, and it's really hard for me to answer that question without knowing a lot about you and what your expectations are and how loud you want the bike. But Vance & Hines is always an exhaust that is kind of, you can't go wrong with it. So I'm going to get you guys some third-party perspective shots now of this thing. This is one of the few times you'll actually see me kind of stretched out on a bike. It was kind of cool to ride a bike like this just because usually my knees are way above the tank and my feet aren't stretched out, and so my hips are always kind of cramped. Besides, like on a touring bike that's kind of been set up for me like my personal bikes. And right here, my uncle decided to video bomb me and play a little ring around the rosies with me. This bike initially just really reminded me of like custom chopper style motorcycles, kind of like your big dogs, your Pro Ones, or your Jesse James choppers, where you're really stretched out and aggressive styling on the bike, which is a really fun position to ride bikes. Ape hangers, you either love them or you hate them. I think they're really fun to ride with. They don't really serve a functional purpose, although some people might disagree with me. But just that riding style with your fists in the air is just a really cool, fun riding style. The thing that's rad about this bike is it really embodies a lot of just the classic things that make Harley-Davidsons great. You got the big ape hangers on there, the badass raked out front end, you got the classic flame paint job on it. It sounds awesome. You got Harley-Davidson's iconic big twin engine. It's 103 cubic inches, which these engines do really well. You got plenty of power in these things. Could you always have more? Sure. But it's got plenty of power. When you get down to like the earlier 2000s with the twin cam 88, those 88s were what I would consider underpowered. Then they bumped up to the 96 in 07, and then the 103 came out on these Dynas right around 2011, 2012, depending on what model we're talking about. So the 103 is definitely nice, powers the bike really well. So I would classify this bike as a modern day easy rider bike, but of course you got all the new frame and engine and suspension and everything that you basically get the easy rider style without the easy rider problems of old with the engine's not as reliable, the suspension not as good, riding around on hardtails or whatever it may be. So, a lot more practical and functional now, but you still got that really classic style. Michael, the owner of this bike, he named the bike Sawheatnesss, and it had some meanings to the name and how you spelt it and everything. I can't remember exactly what the spelling represented as far as meaning, but I would say the bike lives up to its name. This thing is pretty sweet. So I want to talk real quick about comfort on this thing. Now, I don't typically say that the Wide Glide is among the most comfortable Harley-Davidsons out there, but with this bike here, with the modifications that he's made, that longer front end, the seat with the backrest, and the foot controls for a tall man, this thing was extremely comfortable. And here's a point I want to make with this video, if you guys take nothing else from this video but this point. A lot of times people focus a lot on the suspension of the motorcycle to increase the comfort of the bike, and that obviously is a vital key element to making the bike the most comfortable possible. But the other thing that I think a lot of people forget about is the overall ergonomics and how the rider triangle, the relationship between your hands, the handlebars, your seat, and your foot controls really plays a huge part in the comfort. So even though this doesn't have the big touring chassis and suspension, because the ergonomics of this bike fit me and fits, I'm sure, Mike, the owner of this bike, so well, it really adds a huge element to the overall comfort of this motorcycle. So yeah, this thing was great on the freeway. And those of you that really want to take comfort to the next level, having a rider backrest on your bike helps out a ton. Now, on a bike like this with the huge ape-hanger bars on it, with your hands up in the air and your upright seated posture on this motorcycle, you catch a lot of wind. Now, on this bike, I took a lot of chest wind, and that's another thing that I tell people as well with the touring bikes, like your street glides and your road glides, just having that fairing there and not having that wind beating against you, that really helps your stamina and your endurance on a bike on a long ride. But something like this on this bike, the counteraction of that wind hitting your chest with that backrest really was key, and it made this thing very, very comfortable. And the fact that I could sit back further and get my feet stretched out a little bit more, my arms up in the air, this thing was a ton of fun to ride out on the freeway at high speeds. It was really, really comfortable. I could go a long time on this bike. That about does it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like Mike's bike, Sawheatnesss, and you want to give him props, give it a thumbs up, like the video. If you want to see more of this type of content, these types of subscriber videos, please leave that in the comments below. Let me know what you guys want to see. If you are someone that wants to see your bike featured, reach out to me, email me, or something like that. We can set up a time you can bring your bike by and we can show it off on the channel. Thanks to everybody that's been reaching out to me and giving me props on the YouTube channel. It's really motivating, and appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.